I'm live now. All right. Hey, welcome YouTube and Facebook, and I think Twitter's out there. So my name is Sean Cowgill, and this is Federal Prison Talk. I did a little time in federal prison, been out about 3 years. I did 52 months for wire fraud. And I got about half of that time cut off, taking programs like the RDAP program, some of the good time, and halfway house, things like that. And I'll talk about that a little more as we go along. If you are facing a federal sentence and you're out on pretrial, and you're watching this, check out my channel. I got probably 300 videos, lots of help along your journey. I was 4 years on federal pretrial, so that's where you get indicted. They kind of let you, they put you on a bond, a $50,000 bond. I didn't have to pay no money. A lot of guys get a $100,000 bond. Some people have to put up money. But most of your non-violent criminals out there that are on federal, that get indicted in the federal system, are let go. Are not let go, but they're out on a bond. And one day they have to go to prison. Me with 4 years later. Some people, you get lucky, 9 months, a year, you get sentenced. I say you get lucky because those 4 years of pretrial were a living hell, man. Prison was worse than the 4 years of pretrial. And then you get average of 3 years federal probation afterwards. So I have 2 months left, man, and I'll be off to 3 years. The whole thing has been 10 years. I got indicted in 2011 or 12. It's 10 years, and it's still I got 2 months left. Take a breath. So I started this channel a couple of years ago. Today I get Google sends me headlines almost every day, federal sentencing and federal prison crimes and things, kind of give you guys an idea what people are getting charged for in the federal system. And I got a few people in the room. Thanks. Let me check out the comment. Hey, TJ's here. Oh, TJ and Terrell. Thanks, guys. I haven't done a video in over a week. I just been kind of busy, guys. I meant to. And let's see, Terrell's in the room. Hey, I'm going to do call-in live tonight, guys, too. I got my office number, the Google Voice hooked up. If that backs up, it comes on this phone, and I'll put it up on the speaker. If you guys want to call in, and I'll put the number here up on the screen in a second. Terrell, 6 days left until sentencing. So, Terrell, we got to you call me, man. I'd love to do a little role playing with you for that sentencing day in front of the judge. I've done it with a few people. It's good to practice. Maybe you don't want to say anything to the judge at all. Some people feel that's I better keep my mouth shut because this is the most important day, I think, of your life. You'll never forget your sentencing day. Some of you have been sentenced before, but I bet you remember those days. But in the federal system, what you say to that judge can make a difference. You could say the wrong thing, and it could definitely make a difference. Nick is in the room. Nick Schloffman. Did I say that right? He's got 6 days left for me, too, until sentencing. Really? Both you guys get sentenced in 6 days. So, guys, I'm going to put my number up here. You guys call me. Let's do some role playing. We'll go on Zoom or something. I'll be the defendant, and I'll give you the bad way to, yeah, Your Honor, I did it. I don't care. I'll give you the bad way to do it, the good way to do it. We'll switch roles. You guys do it, and maybe it helps you out. It helped out Vladimir. I just, a couple weeks ago, I did a show with him. He ended up getting 18 months. He was looking at 3 years. But it helps. He was still nervous. It's good to be nervous in front of that judge, even if you practice, because whatever you practice, that's not what you want to say on that day. You practice so you can learn how to speak in front of somebody. And when you're in that courtroom, man, I mean, everybody's quiet. After the attorneys, the prosecutor, the probation, everybody says their part, what they want you to get, what you should get, quoting all the laws you broke and all this stuff. It's quiet. It's just you. If you got your parents, your kids, your family out there, friends, everybody's quiet. Judge is going to give you some time to talk. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Don't talk any longer than that. The judges kind of have a short attention span anyways. But make those 5 or 7 minutes count. I wouldn't go more than 7 minutes, guys. But you want to speak from the heart. And this is your chance to say, you don't want to say how good you've been, all the good things you've done in life. You just pled guilty to a federal offense. So you're not good. You're not a good guy, all right? You're the bad guy up there trying to convince the judge that you've changed your ways and you're going to continue to change your ways when you get out of court, and when you go to prison and after prison. So you want to tell the judge what you've done at pretrial to show that. If you've done absolutely nothing but follow all the orders pretrial gave you, you're no different than anybody else. Most people get through pretrial, they show up for their court hearings, they go to work, they have a job, they do all the normal things. That makes you no different than the 28 guys he already sentenced this month. So you got to stand out and you got to make it count, and you got to speak from the heart. And the judges know if you're faking. So when I say we practice, you're not writing. You're not rehearsing for a movie role. It's not a script that you memorize. But actors rehearse for their lines all the time. We're not going to rehearse for your lines, but you're going to practice how to speak to the judge. And I think it helps. And so give me a call this weekend, guys, or something before you, if you got time, and we'll do it. And maybe it helps. Or find a family member, a friend, somebody do it with them. And, go back and forth. Somebody play the judge, somebody play the defendant. Somebody play the bank robber, somebody do the doctor who got busted for Oxycontin, somebody do the drug mule who got caught, with a big sack of meth crossing the border in the back of his truck and he didn't know it was there. Play the roles out, and practice. Let me get some comments here. Got Hadley James. Good luck, Terrell. Stay strong. Both you guys in 6 days. Wow. That's, and we got 39 days till I self-surrender. Oh, wow. So we got one of you self-surrendering, two of you going to get sentenced. Man, you're on the right channel, guys. You're on the right channel. Wow. That's all. I remember all those days. I remember that so much. And the self-surrender, Hadley, I think we talked, right? I'm not sure. I think we did. But call me, man. I'll give you some pointers and stuff. Self-surrendering. There's certain things you can bring into prison. There's certain things you want to prepare for. I go over all that. Let me put this number up here on the screen. If you guys want to call in, and I'll put it up just a second here. I'm going to find this. I got it here somewhere. Stream. All right, I'm going to read some news articles for you guys. Let's see what we can do. I thought I had it here. Let me make one up. I'll put it up here. 1 second. There we go. And I'm just getting there, guys. And multi. Let's see here. That should do it. There we go. There's the number if you guys want to call in right now. And I'm going to go over some of these news stories for you. I got a couple more comments. He says, yes, we did a live, man. Oh, yeah. Now I know who you are. The name Hadley should stick out to me because, it's not like I know three other Hadleys. Because I got you on Facebook that day. And yeah. Sorry, man. I remember you well now. It was only 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. My brain got a little scattered there. And Terrell says, 3 years house arrest, not gonna lie. I'm glad that I'm finally getting sentenced. It's been just pure hell not knowing and just sitting on house arrest. Yeah, man. Not knowing, man. Not knowing. Are you going to get probation? Are you going to get, 2 years? Are they going to give you the 10 years? And my friends, my family, people that knew about that I was going to do this, thought, 1 year, 2 years goes by, 3 years goes by. Oh, man, you're not going to prison, man. What? That's 3 years ago. Come on, man. You just, they only have you go to court because it's kind of like you're already on probation. They're just going to extend that. No, man. That's not the way the feds work. Maybe in a state case. Yeah, he says it's all good, bro. Yeah, definitely remember you, though. Yeah. I was just watching the video we did. I was checking out all my videos, some of them aren't monetized. They are, but I have to click the on button. And, yours was, but I was rolling through my videos. Anyways, let's see. Let me do a news story here. Let's see. Federal court sentences. What's this one? Click this on. Sentences a man to 6.5 years in prison for possession of a firearm by a felon. Some of you guys have called me with gun charges. So I got a little person here that reads this for me. Let me this here. And I'll find my little button here. I haven't done this in a minute. It's review. No. 1 second here. Here we go. And I got a reader.
Chestnut had his first appearance.
Oh, that's good. All right. Bear with me. Yeah. Jesus, shut up. All right. I'll get this going here. Here we go. Now I got it.
Federal court sentences man to 6.5 years in prison for possession of a firearm by a felon. Chestnut had his first appearance in Raleigh on March 2nd and is being held in the Columbus County Law Enforcement Center as a federal inmate with no bond, Columbus County Sheriff's Office. Published October 17, 2022. Whiteville, North Carolina. A 46-year-old man from Whiteville was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison and 5 years on federal supervised probation during a federal court proceeding for possession of a firearm by a felon on October 5th, according to a release from the Columbus County Sheriff's Office. Lamorris Cornelius Chestnut was arrested on a federal indictment for the charge on February 22nd. The previous year, on July 16, he was arrested while on parole and charged on the state level with 5 counts of possession of a firearm by a felon, along with multiple drug-related crimes. The arrest followed a search made by a special CCSO unit, including SWAT, HEAT, Narcotics, and ATF Violent Crimes Task Force members.
I guess that's it. I want to tell you, 6.5 years for all those charges, that's not bad. That's not bad. He had 5 counts of firearms and drugs, and they didn't even charge him for the drugs because it's a 5-year mandatory minimum for one gun charge, especially if you're a felon in possession. And he had 5 of them, so they could have gave him 25 years, and then the drug charges. So he talked. He had to talk. Or they're just giving out good deals now. I can't say for sure. But that's a good deal, man. If you are out there and you have a gun charge and drug charges, I know I had a couple of youngsters call me up and they got similar charges. If they're offering deals like that without, cooperating on your friends, let's say, take that deal, man. The feds don't give you a second deal, not normally. So that first plea offer they give you, that's pretty much it. Or you go to trial. And if you go to trial, you're looking at 20 years and you got a 3 or 4% chance of winning. And if you win that case and you take it all the way to trial and you win, you piss them off. Now you're on their black book, the red flag book. They're coming after you every year. They're going to find something on you. And if you own a business, man, they'll find something on you. They always do any kind of paper, If you own a businessman and you won a federal case in court, they're researching. They're going to find something. They don't need much. You guys know, they just need like a suspicion to indict you because they go before this grand jury who nobody knows who they are, secret grand jury, not a jury of your peers like the law says, and you're supposed to have the right to choose your jury. You don't choose this grand jury, and then you get indicted. They all meet in a secret place, and then you find out later that you've been indicted. You're not even invited to the party. You know what I mean? This is the way the federal system works. Nothing I ever learned about in the law. So now you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. That indictment means you've been found guilty in the grand jury's eyes, who you're never going to meet and never know who they are. Are they a jury of your peers? I doubt it. So this system. So go ahead and take it all the way to trial. And even if you win, you're still fucked for life. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion, guys. Let's see if there's some more comments. I am self-surrendering. I should go to a camp or low, right? Hadley, did we do the evaluation? Because I have the way to classify you. I think we did. If not, call me. I'll do it. It takes about 10 minutes. It's like 11 questions. But you got to know your criminal history back, the category. And you should know if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And if you got a category 1, man, you're probably going to a camp anyways, because the highest one I think is 8 points. But in your age count, so if you're under 25, you get 8 points from the gate. You need 11 points or less to go to a camp. If you're self-surrendering, you get -3 points. You could say then you need 14 points to get into a camp. So that's a lot of points, but if you got any kind of criminal history, it messes you up. And then I have another thing for your charge. If it's like, arson or gun trafficking or kidnapping or murder or aircraft piracy, things like that, man, it's like 8 points. So there's 5 categories of your severity of your criminal case. So depending on how severe it is, and if it's drugs, it goes by the weight. If it's 50 grams, if it's 200 grams. Anyways, I have all the paperwork. So if I haven't done that with, I don't think we did that. But I can tell you how many points you got, as long as you know that category. Let's see. Hadley says, we did it, man. I will give you a call tomorrow. I got to work till about 5 o'clock tomorrow, Mountain Time. So call me in the evening or the weekend. I'll be at Wings for Life. I'm doing a show tomorrow with a guy named Gary Pennington. Well, I done a show with him before. He did 33 years in Nebraska state prisons. Now it'll be on this channel, but it's on the Wings for Life. That's the organization I work for that helps families of inmates who are locked up. Anyway, so he started a YouTube channel, guys. It's called Repair or Replace Improvement, I believe, because I'm going to plug his channel. So I helped him start a YouTube channel. He came down to the office, and together, he's got a few videos out. He does a really good job. I think the guy's a natural it's a home repair channel, because he started off as a handyman, and now he's got so much work he doesn't know what to do. But he can fix anything. And he learned all this while he was in prison for those 30 years. I think he knew a little when he went in there, but so for 33 years he worked maintenance in all these prisons, and now he has employees that work for him now, and he's doing good. But he started a YouTube channel, so I'm going to plug that channel. I should probably get that on here and plug it too. Home or repair maintenance? I can't remember. Anyways, I'm going to plug his channel tomorrow. We're going to talk about how to start a YouTube channel tomorrow. I know you guys are going to prison. Some of you guys are getting ready to go to prison. Maybe when you get out, you can start a channel like I did. Let me do another news story here. And if you want to call in, I'll put the number back on the screen, guys. And somebody wants to call in, and like a talk show, we can do that. Let's see. Let me get another story here. And how about Canton man sentenced to 14 years for federal prison for armed something. Let's see what this says. It's coming in there. Come on. Now, I clicked the button. There we go. Canton man sentenced to 14 years in federal prison for armed carjacking. So this guy's going to the penitentiary. Pretty sure. Medium at best. He's not going to get a pretrial like you guys. He's not going to get self-surrender. He's probably locked up now, and he was the whole time. I doubt they let a carjacker even get pretrial. Well, let's find out. Let's just read the story here. Okay. Where's my reader? How did I do that? Home? No. I got to find where she was. 1 second here. How did I do that before? Insert, maybe. One of these buttons, man. There we go.
Monday, October 17th, 2022. Canton man sentenced to 14 years in federal prison for armed carjacking. Jackson, Mississippi, a Canton man was sentenced to 168 months in federal prison for armed carjacking, announced U.S. Attorney Darren J. Lamarca and Special Agent in Charge Dermot Fombi of the Federal Bureau of Investigation in Mississippi. Cordello Deshawn Shoulders, 30, was sentenced on October 13, 2022, in U.S. District Court in Jackson. Shoulders was further ordered to a 5-year term of supervised release following his prison term. According to court documents, during the evening of April 28, 2019, at a Jackson gas station, Shoulders and an unknown man pulled up next to a car occupied by three young women and initiated a conversation. The women agreed to meet Shoulders and the other man at a party nearby.
All right, let's stop there. So there's three girls in the car, right? These two guys are cruising. They talk to the girls. Who knows how they got them to go to the party? So, I mean, how's this, this happened, right? What's up, lady? You go to the party, you want to come, right? Let's find out what happened, okay?
Once the women arrived, and while still in their car, the men approached and pointed guns at the women. The women were ordered out of their car and were made to remove their clothes.
Okay, wow. So right there it changes. Get out of the car, take your clothes off, gun pointed. Wow. Bad decision on the women? Is it? Is it a bad decision? I want your opinion. Three ladies in the car, Friday night, whatever, they're cruising around looking for a party. These guys invite them to a party. Is that a good choice to make? To follow them or not follow them? Because this just happened. And let's hear what else.
Shoulders and the other man took the women's phones, wallets, and the keys to their car. Shoulders then left in the women's car while the other man followed. Shoulders was captured and identified on the following day, April 29th, after he led police on a pursuit and crashed while avoiding a roadblock. Shoulders was driving the car he had taken from the women.
So there's more to this story. We'll get to that. So, not only did they make them take their clothes off. I didn't hear about rape yet, but they took their wallets, took their cell phones, took their clothes, and took their car. Now, are they leaving the women stranded on the road? I'm not sure if they're going to tell us this or not. So again, let me ask you guys. So three ladies are cruising around, and I guess when they met them, I didn't hear where they met them at, but they pull up to the women, and they start, guys do this. Hey, what's going on, ladies? What's up? Want to go to a party? Yeah, we want to go to a party. Follow us. And they take them down, a dark road. So if these are your daughters or, women, should they follow strangers to a party? I've done this, I've invited women to a party. I've been the one following someone to a party. But in today's world, let's see what else happened here.
Shoulders was indicted by a federal grand jury and pled guilty on July 7, 2021 to armed carjacking. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, Jackson Police Department, and Clinton Police Department investigated the case. This case was prosecuted by Assistant U.S. Attorney Burt Caraway.
All right, so that's the end of that story, and there's some of the details I didn't know. What did they leave? What did they do with the women? They just leave them on the side of the road and kept going. One guy got in the car. There was two of them, right? So the other guy stayed with the women, and maybe that's another news story that was underneath here that I didn't read yet. I need to follow it up. Let me see if I got some comments here. No, nobody has anything to say about these three women. Should they have followed these guys to a party or not? There's an echo. Oh, I think the echo is when this is reading. I probably don't have an echo now. I can mute myself, and I can fix it. All right. So, anybody want to call in, guys? There's the number. One more time. And guys, if you guys are already getting sentenced and all that. I don't know if you got character reference letters made up and all that. You got 6 days to go. It could be done. I do have a little business at Federal Prison Consulting Services. I'm working with RDAP Dan now. So if you guys know who RDAP Dan is, he's been doing this, 8 years or something. So, and we talk all the time. He helped me out before I went to prison. And he wrote me letters while I was in prison. He put some money on my books. And he's the reason I started this channel. He was kind of my mentor. And he's been doing this prison consulting thing for, 8 years. And so we talked to you last week. And he says he wants to retire. He has been burnt out on this whole prison. It gets to you. 8 years of doing what he does. I've been 2 years on this, and sometimes I take a week off. I understand what he's going through. And he has he has a licensed therapist, drug counselor that works for him for the RDAP to get RDAP letters to go in. And I have one now that is here in town. Leroy Lucero, and he's a licensed drug and alcohol counselor and therapist and the director of a Christian drug and alcohol program. And he's highly qualified to do intakes and give you guys a letter to get in RDAP if you need one. And but RDAP Dan has offered me to kind of, I want to say, take over when he wants to retire. And he says I'm the guy that he wants to pass the torch to, kind of like take over the Tonight Show when Johnny Carson left and Jay Leno took on board. So he said he's real proud of me. He's been watching me evolve ever since I called him up on pretrial. So so I get, and he's going to train me on a lot of things I don't know about the prison consulting. So I'm doing about half the services he could do, and I do have to know how to do most of those well. There's a lot to this thing. But anyways, so I'm kind of working with RDAP Dan. He took me under his wing, and we'll see what happens. And so if you guys do want to call me, I am working with RDAP Dan. So Vladimir and his mother are trying to get their self-surrender date extended. And I didn't know you could do this, but RDAP Dan does it. And he's done, I don't know, 100 of them. He doesn't need the lawyers or nothing. He goes straight through the judge. There's paperwork. He knows how to do it. And he can usually do it in a day or two. So if you didn't want your self-surrender date extended, you call me or RDAP Dan. We can get that done for you too. There's a lot. So anyways, guys, if you need character reference letters for, your sentencing day, or you want some coaching and things like that for sentencing day, or help with your pre-sentence report before you do it. A lot of you guys have already done it. But that's really important because that's how the judge is going to judge you. Hey, I got Google Voice. Let me see. Hello, you are on Federal Prison Talk. Hello?
Hey, Sean, it's Pharrell.
Hey, what's going on, man? You know you're on the show right now, right?
Huh?
Okay, I want to make sure you're just not somebody calling up, randomly, didn't know watching the show. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Not much. Just getting ready for the sentencing day.
Yeah. That's right, man. So, are you scared?
Yeah, you're going to be scared when you got this sentencing day coming over here. You don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
I got kids and everything, so,
Sure.
I don't, I'm nervous. I'm not good at speaking up in court and, things like that. But, I'm ready, though. I've been practicing. Me and my fiance, we're doing role playing and stuff like that.
That's good.
Yeah, I've been practicing. I've been getting ready, so. It really hit me the other day when I went to go get a suit for court. So.
Oh, see, that's another thing. You want to dress up, man. You don't want to go in there with bling bling and all this. And, you wear a shirt and a tie, man. It's
Yeah.
Or in a suit. A suit's better. Yeah.
Yeah, something regular. A little $100 suit. Keep it simple.
Also, remember when you're standing in front of that judge, don't be looking like this, looking down, scratching. You want to give that judge your full and honest attention. Because give him respect. If you stop and you get skipped, that's fine. That's actually a good thing. If you have to take a breath and all, because now the judge knows you're real. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's a human nature. That's the humanism of it. So yeah, don't be afraid to stop or whatever. That's fine, man. Now that's your credentials. That shows you don't have a rehearsal. But you want to maybe practice with us right now? No,
probably not right now.
Okay. Well,
it's been a rough day today.
Yeah. All right, man.
It's been a rough day, but I just called in, show my support.
Thank you.
I've been looking at your channel for a good process since before you moved out to where you at?
I'm in Albuquerque. Oh yeah, I was in San Francisco and all that. Wow.
Before you moved out, I remember when you moved out to Albuquerque. So I've been watching for a while.
Wow.
I started watching all that Dan first, and then I found your channel, and I've been watching ever since. So.
I used to watch RDAP Dan when I was on pretrial for years, right? And
I started doing research about a year into my house arrest.
Okay.
And started to kind of want to know what I was getting myself into, and that's kind of how I came across you guys' channel. So it's been really helpful.
Well, maybe you'll start a channel when you get out. Because before I went to prison, I'd watch RDAP Dan and I'd be in his chat room. He'd do live shows. And, my date was getting closer. And I said, man, I want to do what he's doing when I get out of prison. That'd be great to do that. And here I did it. So you could do it too, man, you know?
Yeah, it helps out a lot. It helps, it helps out a whole lot of people, especially for people that have never been in the prison system before.
Yeah.
Federal prison at that. So,
dude, the phone calls I get, the emails, the comments people leave me, they just make my whole day. I might wake up and I'm having a bad day and I read a comment or an email or somebody calls me and they go, man, I've been watching your videos. You really helped me. I don't know how much to tell you that you got me through all this. And it makes my whole day, man. It gives me a purpose, you know?
You did. You definitely got through the last 2 years. You definitely got me through a lot of stress, a lot of questions that I needed answered. You answered for me. Little you know what you did, though. You know, stuff my lawyers couldn't answer for me.
Yeah, the lawyers don't.
Right. I found, if I do get sentenced, time I'm going to camp, you told me everything there is to know about the camp, so, I'm kind of got myself prepared. I got myself mentally prepared for it,
Yeah.
I'm not going into court thinking, I'm about to get probation. I'm going in here thinking, I'm about to get time. So, I'm
yeah, they're going to punish you, but to what degree? Now, that's up to you. That's what you have to prove while you're on pretrial. You know, if you haven't done anything up till now, it's, you know what I mean? You got to show something for the last year that you did. And I think you've been, you know that. You've been getting ready, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. Keep up the good work. You're helping out a lot of people.
Thank you. What are your guidelines, man? Do you know?
I do not know. I have to look at my paperwork.
Well, like, did the lawyer tell you kind of how much time you're looking at?
I'm looking at 48 months I think it's 48 to 52 months. I know it's 4 to 4.5 years.
Okay. And do you know what category you were in on the criminal history?
One.
One's good. Mm-hmm. I mean, one's real good. The judge sees that, and that means you don't have a record. So I don't got a simple possession on my record. That was the only thing. I know my category is 1. Yeah.
I don't have any detainers or any of that crazy stuff.
So you know about that stuff, yeah. So if you get more than 2 years, you could do the RDAP. Since you had that possession, that kind of tells me right now that you might be one of us to need a little help when you get in there, but you get up to a year off. In your pre-sentence report, did you write down that you had an alcohol or drug problem?
Yes, I did. And I tried to get into a drug court program called the Bridge Program down here. I'm in South Carolina. They call it the Bridge Program, but I was denied because my mostly drug use was marijuana. So
see, that might be a problem with RDAP too, because it's got to be an acute type problem. So if you just drink 2 beers on Friday nights and you have a glass of wine at dinner here and there, that you don't really need help in their eyes.
I did other drugs too, but they said that I didn't do it as frequently as I did marijuana. I smoked since I was 18 every single day up until the day I got out of jail.
See, but that's only you saying that. So you got to convince the RDAP coordinator who runs the program. You know how many guys sit there in front of him every time they come into prison, these new people, and they want to get the time off, and they tell them their stories just like you did, but they need something on paper. They're just not going to take your word for it that you smoked marijuana every day. You got to have some kind of licensed doctor, therapist, a professional with credentials, so.
Yeah, I did therapy for about a year now.
There you go. Your therapist could write you a letter.
Yeah, I actually put myself in therapy.
Without the feds. Okay, the feds didn't pay for that.
I talked to my probation. I told I was kind of struggling with the stress of not knowing it was going to happen. I was going through it.
I hear you, man.
I was going through it, and I told you, I did a little help. I took myself, and I got that help, and I've been in therapy for almost a year now. So.
I love my therapy, man. They won't pay for me anymore. They said I'm cured, but I had like 8 years of it. I had 4 years before I went to prison and a couple of years after, and I got lucky enough to have one in prison, They have some psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever they were. But I got a lady that used to sit down with me once a week for half an hour for a little while. Hey, man, therapy works, man. You know, I was against it before I tried it, but anybody out there, man, I recommend therapy.
Definitely. I definitely recommend it. If you still on pretrial, I definitely recommend.
Yeah, talk to your pretrial officer, man. They'll pay for it. They'll hook you up.
It's definitely, they will. It's definitely good to have somebody to talk to about your situation because I know, a lot of other people know who's on the channel that being on pretrial is fun. I've been on pretrial is fun. And I got 4 kids, and all my kids stay with me in my household.
So your life's on hold, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been on hold for the past 2 years, and I don't want to progress or move forward with anything. I've been staying in the same apartment, the same job. I've been doing the same thing for 3 years straight, every week, in and out. It puts you on hold. You don't want to do nothing else.
You start to realize how valuable and precious life was that you went and screwed it up.
Yes,
if you get that, if you can get that far, if you're still, some people are angry the whole time and they're in denial and I did nothing wrong, and I wish those people the best. But until you can, take a real good look at yourself, and you did this. Nobody put a gun to your head, man, and you knew there was something. You knew there was something up to, you knew it was wrong, but you did it anyways. And it's hard to admit.
That was me that first year. I was going to preach out. That was me for that first year. I was in denial.
I was too, man.
I was convinced that I didn't do anything wrong. I was confused because I've never been in this situation before, and it was different. It's not like getting pulled or some marijuana and getting locked up. It's different. It's bigger than that. So it was different. It took me a year to actually come to terms with myself that I actually did something wrong. This is what I did wrong.
That's going to make you a stronger man that you can accept all that. It's one thing saying it to your lawyer and the judge and stuff, but I mean, if you feel it inside, because I did tax returns for like all these homeless guys and drug guys. I was robbing them. I was giving them money. I was helping them get back on their feet. Man, I did nothing wrong. I help people. What are you talking about? I'll take this to court. I'll win. Man, the denial, anger, and then, it's like when somebody dies, you go through those like 5 stages of grief. And then finally at the end, I said, I knew it was too easy and, to get that money and, I knew I was doing something wrong. And it just takes time. And then I figured, you know what? I stole from the government. I stole from the government. It doesn't matter who you steal from. It's stealing. I can steal from the Nazis. That still makes me a bad person, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
I'll tell you this though. Being on house, I regret what I did and everything, but being on house arrest these past 3 years, it has definitely changed.
Yeah.
It made me a better person, being off the drugs and everything, I can think clearly now and just, my whole life for the past 3 years. It's been hell, but it's actually been better for me mentally, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh, I do. Maybe you just needed somebody to hold you down still for a minute, the way you were running around. I don't know what, how your life was before, but I bet your wife.
It was wild. It was wild.
You get to spend time with your kids now that you probably never did before, right? All those promises that you used to keep, now you kept them, right?
That's true too. I actually got custody of my kids while I was on house arrest.
Oh, okay.
I only had 2 since the start of, my pretrial, and now I had 2 more while I was on pretrial.
Oh yeah, little big guy got 2 more. Yeah, okay, man.
Yeah, I had 2 more kids while I was on pretrial, and I got engaged, and everything. So,
wait, you got engaged to a woman while you're going to prison?
Yeah.
And and you told her she knows about it? She was fine with it?
She was with me from the start.
No! You said you got engaged, so I'm thinking you met a woman in the middle of pretrial. Okay, I'm sorry. You know what I meant?
Yeah.
But still, for her to say yes to get married to you, knowing you're going to prison, that's huge for her.
Yeah, she's been with me through the beginning, through the start, from the beginning. From the beginning, she's been there, and she. I love her a lot because she's been through it with me. If you get that. You know, I can't take her out on dates. You know, I can't take my kids out. You know, to have fun. So it's been just us.
So you know, man, all this time you got, I'm sure you already know this, but you need to tell her you love her every day. Tell your kids you love them every day. Hug them, all that stuff, because you're gonna be away from them for a while. But just hold on to these these days are make the best of them. Okay, I'm sure you know this. But and if women like to be told that you love them, and most do. I mean, I'm not saying, but and kids like that, they'll remember that while you're in prison, and hopefully you don't do a long time, and you come back home to them soon.
Yes, sir. I will definitely keep you updated as the days go by.
Okay.
Thursday get there, I will reach out to you and let you know what I'll have next week.
Okay. Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah. I'm going to get back to the kids.
Oh yeah, you bet, man.
It was nice talking to you.
All right.
And thank you for everything, man. I really do appreciate it. You keep it up.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All right. Wish you luck.
All right.
All right. Hey, we had a caller. All right, guys. Got time for another caller, too, if you guys want. And meantime, let me, what's going on with my screen here? I'll read another story. Okay. Do a couple news stories here. Let me see if I got any more comments to catch up on. Yeah, Bonnie is in the room. Bonnie D, she says the 5 stages of grief, yes, has been proven to be bogus. Oh, Kubler-Ross based this concept on the experiences of a handful of patients she engaged in academic dishonesty. Well, I mean, some people get them, some don't. I mean, there's the acceptance when you finally accept it, and there's denial, there's anger. I wouldn't do that when people die, and I wouldn't do that on pretrial. I don't know how close the stages of grief are when somebody dies, but I mean, they're just feelings and emotions that happen. I mean, it doesn't happen to everybody, but sure. And she says the caller has a great real catch. Hug them tight, keep them close. Yeah. There you go, Bonnie. All righty. Let's see what other stories I got here. I'll click on here. I see. There's a man sentenced to 5 years for. I didn't read that one. There's a guy that got 45 years here. Now, I don't like to talk about these kind of cases unless somebody gets a lot of time, because there are certain criminals out there, guys, that I think deserve 10 life sentences and then some. And that's your child molesters, your pedophiles, your chesters, your, those kind of men or women who rape little kids, okay? Anchorage man sentenced to 45 years in federal prison for child pornography. 45 years. Still not enough time, but I'm glad he got it. Let's see what's going on with this. All right, let's read this one here. 45 years. Still not enough time if you ask me, but... and here we go. Where did it? I lost it. It moved. Let me get back here. Here we go.
Anchorage man sentenced to 45 years in federal prison for child pornography. Wednesday, October 19th. October 19th, an Anchorage man was sentenced last week to spend 45 years in federal prison for producing child pornography and sending it to a woman he's accused of sexually assaulting. Timothy Swenson, 30, pleaded guilty in April to one federal charge of production of child pornography. 2 additional charges for distribution were dismissed as part of a plea agreement. Swenson was arrested in May 2021 on the federal charges. Related felony charges were filed that October in state court, where he is charged with 2 counts of sexual abuse of a minor and 3 charges related to child pornography. Swenson met a disabled woman online in 2018 and sexually assaulted her several times,
What a creep.
the federal plea agreement said. He reinitiated contact with her in early 2021 via text and began sending her explicit images where he can be seen sexually assaulting a 3-year-old child, the agreement said. During an interview with investigators, Swenson admitted he had sexually abused the child and woman, according to a sentencing memo filed by Assistant U.S. Attorney Adam Alexander. Swenson also said he sent the child pornography to up to 4 people through social media, the memo said. Swenson was convicted of second-degree sexual assault in 2011 and was on probation when he sexually abused the woman and child, the agreement said. Swenson's attorney, Assistant Federal Defender Samuel Eilers, requested a 30-year sentence. Swenson took responsibility for his actions, Eilers wrote in a sentencing memo. He had been sexually abused as a child and has a number of mental health issues.
Man, I was muted the whole time. God, so I got really angry, guys. Probably good thing I was muted because I think YouTube might have shut me down. So yeah, I muted myself so the echo wouldn't go. So this guy, this creep, okay, it's just he got charged in 2011 for the same kind of shit, and then he gets out and he does it again, and this time to a 3-year-old child, and all kinds of other stuff, and he's making kiddie porn and all. And then he's using this damn excuse that he was molested when he was a kid. Poor me. Well, I've told you guys before on my channel, when I was 5 years old, I got molested in kindergarten, Larkey Elementary School in Walnut Creek, California, because that school never did anything to help me. So there was 2 guys who watched the class for a teacher for an hour that she went on her break, and they took me and other kids in the bathroom and, did what they did and watched us. And I never turned out like that. Hell, not at all. So, I fight for little kid. Anybody I think is molesting a kid, I'm calling the cops on them. If a van pulls up and 2 kids get out and go to a house and get back in, if the situation doesn't look good, I'm calling the cops, guys. I don't care if I've been to prison. Call me a snitch, whatever. I'll snitch on a child molester any day. If there's an Uncle Joe at somebody's house and he's all friendly with the kids, and I'm looking at them, I'm always thinking somebody's a pedophile. Man, I'll probably, you gotta be careful you don't want to accuse the wrong guy, but I'm always watching. Because I'll call the cops, I'll snitch on all them motherfuckers. They do this thing called chemically castrating them, which means they take a pill so they don't get hard, right? No, you cut the thing off, okay, and you put it on TV, right, like a public hanging, all right, and then you give them life in prison, right? All right, cut the damn thing off. That's the only way to fix it, man. Cut the thing off. That's what I say. Cut it off. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And I get really angry. So I don't know why I didn't read the story till I decided, I saw the title and I put it on here, but it gets me all worked up. Probably shouldn't read those stories. And if YouTube, well, good thing I was muted because I said a lot worse when I was yelling, but I get worked up. It just, man, It's one thing if a guy's 19 and she's 16 or something, that kind of, that's not the same. Okay. But this shit, a 3-year-old kid, man, and making kiddie porn and all, oh man. It just, so anyways, maybe I'll get on to another story. Yeah, I probably lost everybody. I muted myself. Let me read one more story. I'll probably wrap this up. Unless somebody wants to call in. Let's see what I got here. I got to change the story. I can't read those stories, I guess. Convicted felon sentenced to 10 years for possessing drugs and a firearm. So this is a good one. 10 years, drugs and a firearm. The other guy got 6.5, and he had drugs and 5 firearms, and he only got 6.5 years. This doesn't sound as bad, but it depends what part of the country you're in. Let's find out what's going on with this one. All righty. It's got to take a second to change. There we go. All righty. Convicted felon. Let's see. Let's read this. Where's my little reader? There we go. There we are.
Tuesday, October 18th, 2022. Convicted felon sentenced to 10 years in prison for possessing drugs and firearm. Tallahassee, Florida, John Tavius Tiller, 31, of Wauhitchka, Florida, was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison followed by 5 years of supervised release after being convicted at jury trial of possession with intent to distribute heroin and methamphetamine and possession with intent to distribute cocaine and pleading guilty to possession of a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking offense. The sentence was announced by Jason R. Cootie, United States Attorney for the Northern District of Florida. I am proud of our federal, state, and local partners for their tireless efforts to keep us safe and serve a critical role in our efforts to remove addictive and deadly controlled substances from our communities, stated U.S. Attorney Cootie. We will continue to support the efforts of our law enforcement partners as we work together to investigate and prosecute criminals bringing drugs into North Florida. On September 21, 2019, officers of the Panama City Police Department arrested Tiller after discovering 9 small baggies of methamphetamine, a small baggie of heroin, a small digital scale, and a .45 caliber pistol during a traffic stop. After bonding out of state custody, Tiller was arrested on October 29, 2019, by officers of the Bay County Sheriff's Office in possession of 31 small baggies of cocaine and a .44 caliber revolver. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms adopted the case for federal prosecution and conducted additional investigation. Tiller had 11 prior felony convictions, including multiple convictions for drug and firearm offenses. Tiller had only been out of prison for 6 months at the time of the September 21, 2019, offense. Tiller was determined to qualify as a career offender, which provided for an enhanced sentence.
Now I'm unmuting. I got to get used to that. So after reading that story, yeah, he deserved the 10 years. At first, I'm going, it's because it's Florida. In North Florida, you get caught out there. But 11, he's been arrested 11 times in the past for this, the same kind of thing. This guy had 31 baggies, and it's a traffic stop. So guys, it's always a traffic stop. It seems like, unless they raid your house. But most of these busts like this, they get you in the car, man. Get you in the car, guys. So don't transport drugs. Look, I'm not going to tell you how to be a drug dealer because I don't want you to be a drug dealer. I don't want you to be a drug addict. None of that stuff. But if you do have a problem with drugs, get some help. But if you're waiting to get help, I hope one day you get help. But don't carry them in the car. They're pulling people over all the time for any kind of thing. Your light out on your license plate. I've gotten pulled over for a dirty windshield because they told me my vision was obstructed and I was a hazard to the community, or I was endangering the community around me because my windows were dirty. They weren't, but maybe to me they weren't. But they just needed to pull me over for a reason, and then once they pull you over, they want to search the car, and if you don't give them permission, now they can hold you in the car and they'll bring over the canine. And when the canine comes, the dog, supposedly the dog's going to give a little sign, hit the door, and he knows drugs are in there. You don't really know if that dog is telling the cop that he smells drugs or not. The cop always says, "Oh yeah, he just gave me the sign." What sign? How does he know? Prove that in court. Prove it in court. And the cops know once the dog comes, they're just going to tell you, yeah, the dog knows there's something in there. We're going to search. How do you prove that they didn't know that? How do you prove the dog was lying? You can't. So they're going to search you. They're going to find a way. And I know some people refuse to let them search the car. Once in a while, cop can't get back up or something, or a canine, and they'll let you go because that. But don't carry the drugs in your car. Do them at home, okay? Don't do drugs at all. But I mean, if you do, leave them at home, or just don't drive around with them, man. This stuff happens. But this guy, I mean, he's a drug dealer, so he's delivering. Anyways, he deserved that. Because 11 times he didn't learn his lesson. He didn't even want to stop. 6, he got out of prison 6 months ago, and he's still doing it after 11 times. There's just no hope for a guy like that. There's just no hope for them. Let me see what Bonnie has some things here. Let me see. And she says, 19 and 16 is a Romeo and Juliet situation. If your state doesn't have a Romeo and Juliet law, ask your legislators to propose this next session. Yeah, I mean, because it's 3 years apart. You know what I mean? In high school, when you're 15 or 17 and, a junior or, a freshman going out with a senior, that kind of thing. Well, the senior's going to turn 18 and the senior's going to turn 19 and you're still going to be 16 or 17. I get it, man. Because you met in say you met in high school. Same high school. Yeah, 2 kids in high school, 3 years apart. I get it. But that's I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. So the laws do. So maybe this Romeo and Juliet law is a good thing. And then she says, BTW, that's by the way, right? Yeah, by the way, there are 15 and 16-year-olds who go to college. Yes, there is. I was one of them. All right, good for you. It's a real problem for someone like me who is a minor, but who will be dating legal adults. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, because, you're 16, he's 19. If it was just, maybe he just turned 18, he's going to college. If you would have met him 4 months before, it's legal, but now he turned 18 and it's not, and all that stuff, Now, when I was in high school, there was girls 16, 17 that, I knew and stuff who were dating guys 24. And they were bragging about it, there wasn't a lot of them, but there were these certain ones that they date these guys 22, 24, and they're bragging on all their friends and stuff. And I thought it was, I don't know, we didn't like that, but we weren't thinking the guy was a pedophile. Yeah, but if you're 16, if the woman's 16 and the guy's 44, that's wrong. I just think that's wrong. I mean, you got to draw the line. You got to draw the line somewhere. Somewhere. I don't know where that line is. I do know if the kid's 3, I know you don't mess with. If you're an adult, just don't mess with a minor. Again, if you're 19 and she's 18, or 19 and she's 17, yeah, it's different. But you got to make a ruling somewhere. You got to draw the line somewhere. And I don't know where that is, but the Romeo and Juliet law, sure, let's go for it. I can dig it. All righty. Let's see. Any more comments? Nope. Well, it's been an hour, guys. Bonnie's got one more, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Let's see. My classmates in college were generally 2 years older than me. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. How do you, because you're not in high school anymore, you're going to college. So everybody in your social life and they see every day, they're at college. And, you should be allowed to date when you're 16. I get it. Just be careful. Don't go out with the 44-year-olds. Really got nothing in common. There's nothing to talk about anyways. But, draw the line somewhere, Anyway, guys, I want to thank you. Tomorrow I got that show with Gary Pennington. He's got his home repair channel that we're going to plug on YouTube. I'm going to tell you all about how to start a YouTube channel from start to finish. We're going to show you some clips from his channel. and it's home repair and maintenance. I can't look it up. If I look it up, I lose my streamer channel. But just watch the show tomorrow. Catch the rerun on it. So we're gonna be live in the Wings for Life office. He's not remote. He's gonna sit next to me, and all the other staff member that works there. We got Raymond Bambo from Liberia. He comes on. He's been to prison in Africa, and now he's running our Wings for Life center over there. They're building a brand new center there in Africa, Liberia. And he's a good guy, even though he looks like one of those Nigerian guys that's going to scam you for your gift cards and all this stuff. He's not that. He's not that. He went to prison for stealing food. He's good. He's a good man. We talk a lot. He's been on my show a couple times. But he's going to do the little spot again. So check out that show tomorrow, guys. And I've got a few things going this weekend that I want to do on video. Call me if you need any help with your pretrial stuff. I got 2 licensed therapists, drug counselors now that can write letters to get you in your RDAP. Everything helps, but a letter from a licensed professional goes a long way in front of the RDAP coordinator. If you need help with your character reference letters, pre-sentence report, personal allocution, all that kind of stuff, we got services now. I got a little team going, and our prices are way, way, way lower than any of the other consultants out there. And I've been doing this for a couple of years, guys. I got a good track record. Check out my videos, read the comments, all that stuff. I've got lots of people I help, and probably 34 interviews of people I helped. So I'm not just making this up. I have all the proof. Anyway, so that's the number. Everything's underneath the video, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot.